If you find yourself manually writing long prompts over and over and over, or perhaps copying and pasting it from a long list of saved prompts in your library, you might be ready for a ZoomMate project. Now, directly in the Zoom application, you can click on the ZoomMate tab and it takes you directly to the AI-powered engine that is ZoomMate. Now, one of those options is a project. As you can see here, we have an existing project that we can take a look at. But before I do that, I can show you how easy it is to create a new project. So by just simply clicking on the plus sign, you can see the build project tag is attached to the prompt, and I can simply just write a prompt, say something like, I want to create a project for all the knowledge that we have about our ABC products. So we're going to build a knowledge base tied to ABC. And we want to use documents, meetings, trainings, any content that it has access to about ABC. Now, that's going to build out. I'm going to take you through what's in an existing project. I'll select one of those, and you can see there are 4 components in every single project. Now, what's important is to understand is the collection of all of these things is like building a micro app inside of ZoomMate, where you have manual repetitive tasks or you're working over and over with the same data. This is a way in which you can engage with that data and AI in order to be able to do your work more efficiently, more effectively by managing these 4 components. So the first one is instructions. If this is like an agentic project, instructions are like your job description. So it's what you're telling, in this case, you're telling the project to be able to do in order to be able to deliver the best possible outcome for you. So in this case, we're saying you're a project management assistant, right? And you have access to all this great information, meeting recordings, transcripts, meeting plans, documents, all kinds of strategy. And what we ask for is just the ability to be able to answer questions if needed, summarize the meeting transcript data, track open positions, because we have hiring that we're doing for this particular project, and reference the workflow summaries in order to be able to move work forward. So essentially, we've given it a description of what its purpose is in terms of this project. The second component is context. It's essentially what data the project needs access to in order to engage, to be able to answer those questions or know exactly what's coming next in terms of the project. And you can see here, we can attach many different types of data points. I can upload local files. I can attach previous meetings or files directly from within the Zoom platform. That includes as well chat channels. As well, I can link to both Google and Microsoft out of the box. So there's no additional involvement with being able to do that. Just simply authorize my account in order to be able to make that connection and move data inside of this particular project. Now, in this case, it looks like we have a number of different data points. We've got some previous meetings. We have some documents, joint engagement plans. We have workflow documents. We have a marketing plan. We've got some strategy documents, a number of different pieces of data context in order to be able to support the way in which we're working within this project. The next section is skills. Think of skills as a standard operating procedure that we're giving to the agent, in this case, the project, in order to be able to navigate with a data set that ensures that we get the most predictable, highest quality outcome. So if I hired somebody and I put them in their role and I didn't really give them much direction, they probably would fail at their job. But if I sat them down and I gave them a book of standard operating procedures and how to do everything, they can just simply follow that process. And they may be slow initially out of the gates, but the more they did it, they'd get better and better and faster at it. And you'd get a very predictable, reliable outcome because you laid out all the steps. That's essentially what we're doing with skills, is we're giving a skill, in this case, maybe a project management skill, like this waterfall project management skill. Or the skill on how to look up things and what I'm specifically looking for in terms of data in Salesforce or Slack, or information about our product set ABC, or perhaps maybe a sales process, for example. That's a number of different skills there for you. And then the next section is connectors. Connectors allow you access to third-party data points where we can pull data in as well as push action out and data out into those different third-party services. So for example, if one of the things that I wanted this particular project to be able to do is send an email or send a Slack message with an output, I can do that because I've given it access to these connectors. Now, we've been building a project on the back end, so let's check what we've got here. So I've put this prompt in that says, I want to build a knowledge base, a knowledge project around ABC products. Now, it looks like they found 16 different meetings and 50 different documents associated to ABC products. That's great because we want to make sure we incorporate the right information. So in this case, it's asking me, what do you want to include? So we absolutely want the competitive intelligence, the product brochure, the technical description, the new product evolution for sure. This was a draft of a proposal, so we'll include that as well. We've got, so we won't, well, we'll go ahead and add the demo scripts, the demo outline. We'll include the marketing plan meetings and also the most recent meeting. Actually, we'll just include the marketing plan meetings. And additional items might be the custom skill that we have created this. That's a good point. We have an ABC custom skill. I forgot all about that. So the system went out and found anything associated to ABC. So did a good job there. We'll include the executive follow-up presentation as well. So we'll go ahead and create that presentation while it is running in the background. We'll go back to our original project and I'm going to just run a couple quick simple prompts here. So I just want to show you how to engage with all of these instructions and contexts and skills and connectors. So I can just simply put a prompt inside of the dialog box here. In this case, I'm going to say, what are the three most significant blind spots? Now, because it has access to all of this great context and all of these great skills, it knows what we define as a blind spot or a risk associated to this particular project. So quickly and easily, it can use all of that context and the process that I've given it to be able to pull up those three risks. Now, this would be a very powerful thing to have as you walk into a meeting, to be able to extract out some risks, perhaps maybe some details of those risks. I could ask a follow-up suggestions. So how can you best mitigate each of these risks? And we can have some talking points in the meeting. So here we've got a blind spot, core impact, and then it actually even provided a risk mitigation strategy here. So very, very powerful. I want to walk you through a couple different scenarios. And it looks like our project is now complete, but I want to walk you through a couple quick scenarios before we access it. So one, for example, might be summarizing a budget. Here we go. So this one. So in this case, I said, give me a budget of the project. And it broke down, and much of this was in a single document that I might have spent 20 minutes looking for. But it broke it down, give me all the information, the details. If we reviewed this in a meeting, it pulled that data and that feedback back into the details. Any changes that have occurred, it would incorporate all of that in there. So technology and communication investment, financial risks, sustainability. So a lot of really great, valuable information. Let's look at the project status as well. So in the project status output, I asked for the status, and it gave me a detailed status update. Again, something great to walk into a meeting because all of that is now in one place. I didn't have to worry about asking for, specific documents or try to find anything. It was all there already, and it already had those skills and tool access points to be able to pull the data together. In this case, I went a step further and I said, can you help me build a dashboard? Because I have to present out the status of this project in an upcoming meeting. And I don't have anything in one. Now, I could have easily copied and pasted or asked this to be put over in a document, but it's text-based and it's a lot of information that people might not be aware of. But Zoom with ZoomMate has the ability to build very robust dashboards. So as you can see here, it built an HTML dashboard, which I can click on, and this becomes a lot more of an interactive data point. I don't have to just send a boring text document. Now I can have a HTML dashboard where we can review each individual contribution, the stage of the action item. We can see phased out approach, due dates, what status is. We can see percentage of completion. And all this was done, as you saw here, with a single sentence prompt, right? Very simple, very easy to do, and very powerful. And I must show you on the back end of this is some pretty robust, capable HTML code, right? That I have no idea what this is saying, nor do I need to, right? I know the business, I know this project, and I know what needs to get done. I just want to be able to prompt and illustrate all of these rich action items in very, very clear detail. All right, the last thing I want to show you is creating a document. So let's look at the executive briefing in Zoom Canvas. So in this case, I said, hey, I want to build out a Zoom Canvas document as an executive briefing on this particular project and include this waterfall project plan. So in this case, I'm not asking for an HTML or a dashboard. I'm actually looking for a document, and you can click on that document. It'll take you right to Zoom Canvas. It's a way to be able to create very rich, very capable documents that I can share with other individuals, both inside and outside an organization. In this case, I asked for an executive summary, and I asked for it to use the skill of waterfall project management, and it built out this waterfall guide on sort of what's left to complete here with this particular project. So it goes through a phased approach of everything we have left to work on, due dates, status, significance of it, broke out completed deliverables with milestones, risk register, staffing and open opportunities, a joint engagement plan, clothing initiative. That's what this is. 123 Main Street is a retail clothing firm. Phased gate review, right? So this is ties back to the waterfall project management, and then a next 90 days critical path. So very powerful way to be able to use context within the system. So we'll go back into our project here. And again, to be able to give some directions on what the project is purpose-built for, the context or data that it's used to be able to answer the request and execute on those action items. Skills, so these are standard operating procedures we're giving the AI in order to be able to do its job. And then connectors or third-party applications, both Zoom and third-party applications, in order to be able to complete them. Now, you saw that we built a knowledge base that was tied to our ABC products. It pulled in 19 different documents. Looks like some meetings as well as documents. It pulled in our ABC skill as well. It didn't have any connectors. I can simply click on this and add anything specific we want. So let's say maybe Zoom Canvas, we want to pull from chats and our meetings just for simplicity. And then I can write a prompt in here. It says something like compare and contrast the ABC 1000 and the 2000 in a side-by-side matrix. And because it has access to all the materials that I've given the project, it can resource that information regardless of where it's at. It could be spread out all over the place in 3 or 4 or 5 different documents. And in this case, I asked for a side-by-side matrix of the ABC 1000 versus the 2000. So this could be pulled out from live trainings that occurred, it could be pulled out from documents, from phone calls, from meetings, whatever that may be. And that's your output. Again, the power of a project is the ability to be able to engage with all of this rich, useful information that oftentimes is spread out all over the place. Now we can consolidate that all within a single project to be able to help us go from conversation to completion.